Hello Internet, welcome back to our Cataclysm tutorial playthrough. Last episode we checked out these vehicles and then we started clearing this house, and I wanted to take a minute. I abruptly ended the last episode because I was feeling sick. I wanted to take a moment to discuss that. Just because I'm feeling a little sad about it and I want to talk about it. And I know it's not the best place to do that because it's a tutorial playthrough, but I want to talk about it. So if you don't know, I've talked about it on the channel before. I have a lot of the symptoms of Crohn's disease. I've been tested. I don't actually have Crohn's disease. It's a kind of non-specific diagnosis of bowel and intestinal kind of inflammation and stuff that causes me a lot of problems. And again, it's very similar symptoms to Crohn's disease. People know what Crohn's disease is, so I use that as a comparison a lot of the time. Mostly it's cramping and pain, but also I have some more unfortunate issues like getting physically ill pretty regularly. There's occasionally bleeding, shedding of intestinal lining, all kinds of really gross stuff that you probably don't want to hear about. And it causes me a lot of problems in my day-to-day life. It really holds me back. Like, I can't work. Most of the jobs available to me is factory work. Obviously, it's hard to work in a factory when there are days when you get sick every 20 minutes because no one's willing to tolerate that. And for the most part, you can't get on disability for this kind of thing because it's not a specific diagnosis. It's general inflammation. It's not like I can say I have Crohn's disease and this really debilitates my life. They don't really buy like, oh, it's just an intestinal disorder. I've had doctors tell me that I could potentially get on disability, but I don't foresee that really being possible. And my current job allows me I drive for a living, so I can just come home a lot of times and use my home facilities if I'm feeling sick. But it really holds me back in my day-to-day life. Like right now, I really want to be focused on streaming, and it's something where the last couple days I've been having a cold, I think, and I've been feeling really under the weather. And it's been mostly just fatigue and stuff, so that's not the same thing. But there have been times when I really want to stream, but like yesterday's a good example. It was Thursday, and I had basically all day stomach cramps and used the bathroom every like 20 minutes. And when you stream, people expect you to stream for, 2 to 5 hours at a time usually. And I just can't do it because I get sick every half hour. I have to use the bathroom or whatever. Can't really interrupt the stream every 30. No one wants to sit there and go through 5 or 10 minutes of silence waiting for me to come back. And so it's really been holding me back, and I've been really upset that I haven't been able to stream more. And my stomach problems are definitely contributing to that. But anyway, I think that's enough talking about that. I gave it 3 minutes. I think that's enough. I just wanted to touch on that. It's one of the reasons I do YouTube so much is because I can take a break every episode if I have to. And it's pretty rare that I'll cancel the end of an episode like I did last episode and just call it right there because I try really hard not to let it affect me. But it is something I have no control over. And you saw it in the last episode. I literally was probably a minute. I said, suddenly I don't feel so good. And then within a minute, I was like, oh, this is going to happen. I'm going to be sick. I have to go. And so, yeah, definitely debilitating. Definitely really hinders my ability. It hurts social situations. Obviously, if I wanted to go have dinner with friends, it's hard to go. Eating something tends to aggravate it as well. So it's like if I eat, then usually I'm sick within a half an hour after I eat. So it's like, it makes it really hard to go out and do things because then I have to leave and find a bathroom or use someone else's bathroom, and it's just embarrassing and definitely has had a really negative impact on my life. It's been maybe the last 5 or 6 years that it's been particularly bad, although my mother says that even when I was a little boy, like I mentioned offhandedly having so many stomach problems because I don't see my mother very often. And she said, even when you were a little boy, right after you would eat, you would get really sick and have to run off to the bathroom. And it's interesting because I didn't know that. But anyway, let's talk about materials. Sorry about that. I just was feeling particularly bad about it. Talking about things helps, so I thought I would talk about it. I picked up the bondage suit, the leather touring suit, and the greatcoat. I picked these up for materials. We haven't talked about this. When you repair items, so for instance, our long sleeve shirt is quite damaged, as is our duffel bag, and we really would like to repair the duffel bag because it's a good storage item, and if it gets all the way to being broken, it will be destroyed and we will not have it anymore. and making another one is a little annoying. So we would like to repair this. When you repair clothing items, you need the material that they're made of. So if we repaired a long sleeve shirt, it's made of cotton, so we need rags. Again, rags are by far the most plentiful. We could smash this mattress and get probably 120 rags out of these two sections of mattress. So rags are extremely common, but leather and wool are much less common. So if we were wearing wool items, you don't need wool super often. It's probably the material I use the least of. Maybe that and Nomex are the two that I don't often gather up. But if we were wearing a sweater or something that required us to use wool to repair, like if we tried to repair the greatcoat, it would require wool material. And so I pick up wool occasionally for that reason, just to take it apart later and have those wool patches. Leather is more significant because often leather gear is more durable, and so you will end up in the early game wearing a lot of leather a lot of the time. So when I find leather's very common these days, it used to be very hard to find, so it was a real priority to pick up. But now, like, we found a lot of dressers that had kilts and leather skirts in them. I've picked a few up over the last couple of episodes, but the bondage suit and the touring suit are excellent sources because they're large volume. And when you take apart an item for rags and whatnot, it's based on their volume. So this leather touring suit is going to give us, I think, I don't know, quite a lot. I think it's based on 0.25 liters. So this would give us 26 material, and that would be split evenly between leather and Nomex because it's the two different materials. So we would get like 13 of each of these. And then if we look at the bondage suit, which is 100% leather, it would give us something like 13 pieces of leather when we harvest it. So because they're high volume items and this one is made entirely of leather, it's a good pickup. Nomex is less important. It's primarily used to repair firefighter gear. It's pretty rare that you wear a Nomex garment that is not a firefighter gear. And similarly, Kevlar can be very, very valuable as well because the Kevlar armors are excellent armors. So it's usually pretty good to pick up and dissect Kevlar. Now, once you get to the point of the game where you're looting science labs, Kevlar becomes trivial. But in the early game, it's usually good to pick up some Kevlar gear. Soldier zombies also drop Kevlar materials, although it's much less, it's not as common as going into a lab barracks where there's just a whole stack of like combat boots which can be disassembled for Kevlar. Once again, we're just going to grab the valuable things. We're just doing a little bit of general looting, clearing out these last few nearby houses because we've been steadily clearing this area. Honestly, we've done most of the looting at this point. We're certainly going to be reading and leveling up our skills in the near future. Starting to feel a bit hoarse as well, which doesn't bode well for the quality of the videos. Hopefully that's not too much of an issue. We're about full up on storage. Why don't we grab these jugs and just head back to base? We're going to come back and check out the basement. Another zombie child, where are you? To the north. You've nearly killed yourself. Why don't we just quickly divert and kill this child? Because it's basically dead. If we look at it, it has the colon on its health, which is the lowest its health can be before it dies. Seeing some more zombie density to the north, including a tough zombie that spotted us, which is interesting. Wouldn't have thought he would see us, but we'll go ahead and let him come down here. Zapper zombie as well. Really don't want to fight the zapper zombie if we can avoid it. So we'll just let the tough zombie come down. And we're going to look at this vehicle, see if maybe it is drivable. Oh, you're fully healed. Let's back up. We really don't want him to hit us. Again, tough zombies are just beefier versions of the basic zombies. I think they move about the same speed and they have slightly more HP. Actually, when I say slightly more, it actually probably is like 15 or 20% more HP. I'm not 100%. Take the MP3 player. That'll be handy when we start crafting. Have a look at this vehicle. Okay, we have an engine. We have no fuel in the tanks. Unfortunately, both of these tanks are leaky, so that's unfortunate. We have a car battery, which is good. No wheels, and we have controls and whatnot. So unfortunately, this is not really repairable. We'd have to put a new tank on it and change the tires. Currently, we cannot install tanks. If we go again to install a tank, requires drilling for some reason. which we still don't have. So not going to happen. This is a wreck, so again, not really anything of value there. Looks like something's on the seat, so we'll pop in here. Just some cigarettes we don't really want. What's in this vehicle? Is there a jack in here? No, just a wheel and a flashlight. So not having much luck with vehicles. Another motorcycle. What do you got going on? You also don't have an engine. We could have used a small... Oh, it's a bicycle. Never mind, it's not a motorbike at all. So we cleared that house. We have not cleared this house. Oh, we were going to drop stuff off back at base. Let's head back to base. So you can see we can freely move around these areas pretty easily now because we've cleared out a lot of the monster density. Traditional recommendation for new players is not to do that, is just to kind of... Oh, he's sleeping. Oh, you're so cute when you sleep. Wielding a cudgel? Why, though? I gave you a nice spear. So he's asleep. So he'll get some benefit out of our treating his wounds, but not as much as if he'd slept right after we treated them, because the quality decreases over time. You'll see these are now listed as very poor, whereas they were poor before. So he's not going to get as much health from that, but it's still better than nothing. Let's drop some stuff. Hopefully this doesn't wake him up. I think he has heavy sleeper as a trait, so he shouldn't be too woken up by this. But we're going to try not to make noise. We don't want to ruin his day. Why don't we drop the completely busted up nail spear or fork spear for a slightly better one? Spear, because we do have a slightly higher quality one. You'll see the vertical pipe is slightly better than the backslash quality wise, so we'll go ahead and wield that. Again, we're probably just going to end up making another one. Seeing some zombies from the rail station, not really a concern. We'll head back up north, hit this last house, and I think we'll settle in for the evening. And we'll start reading and crafting. Looks like someone died on the old glass. It's possible they saw us when we started a fire and tried to come out and then died on the broken glass. Was just a regular zombie wearing bikini stuff for some reason. Leather chaps we'll take as a backup to the chaps we're currently wearing. Winter coat, football armor we talked about before. The encumbrance is just too high to make it very valuable. It is made partially of plastic, so it would be a good source of plastic chunks. You know what, we'll take that. I think purses are... Oh, they're leather. We'll take that as well for materials. No, what do you got in you? Toastums. Sure. That's Cataclysm's version of a Pop-Tart, which, I don't know. I'm too old. Pop-Tarts now give me heartburn. Pretty much every Pop-Tart I've ever eaten in the last decade has given me heartburn. Nothing there I want. We could take the scarf and butcher it, but I don't care. Anything here I want? No. Same thing with the scarf. What do you... Insecticide. I mean, I don't know what I'd use you for, but I'll take it. Take more soap, although we have so much soap at this point. You know what? Do you butcher for materials? Heating element, ceramic. Yeah, we'll take the curling iron. And the hair dryer. Probably has a tiny... Oh, it's a micro motor. Still, we'll take it. Miscellaneous electronics have varying value. Cargo pants are pretty good in general just because of their storage. It's mostly only valuable in the early game because their protection values aren't very high. Take the duct tape, take the strings, same stuff we've been taking. We really don't need more knives. Really don't need 100 more bird eggs, but I guess we'll keep taking them. Grab all of this, then we'll start clearing these basements on these last two houses. Once again, this has two downstairs. We talked about this being an issue before. Really very frustrated by that. I'm not sure. Ooh, motorcycle pants are very good. They are also cotton and Kevlar like the other motorcycle armor we've seen, but these actually fit us, so they're only 10 encumbrance. Plus it's our legs, so encumbrance matters less on our legs. They have 100% coverage, pretty good warmth, and pretty decent protection. Now, let's look at what we're wearing, because we're wearing the chaps, and let's go to our legs. I don't know if we've talked about this. You can use the plus key, shift equals sign key. Will show you the body parts, and you can sort them by part. And then it lets you quickly see what is on a given body part. So here we have the leather kilt and the leather chaps. You'll see the encumbrance on the kilt is 0, which means you can freely wear them without it being an issue. The chaps is 3, but their coverage is not very good. We could also put on the motorcycle pants on top because our encumbrance on our legs is so low. The problem is the stacking warmth from all of those materials is not good. So I think we'll take off whichever is warmer. Probably not the kilt, is only 10, whereas the leather chaps are also 10. Okay, well then we will look at the chaps have encumbrance, the kilt does not. The storage on the kilt is higher than the chaps, and but the chaps cover slightly more of our body than the leather kilt. I think I'd rather have a little bit of storage and a little bit less encumbrance, so we'll lose the chaps. And how's our warmth? Still pretty dang warm on our legs, but that is an upgrade for our protection values, so we will take that. Computer gaming, the Bowyer's Buddy we will definitely take. Bows recently got buffed in the game. They're considerably stronger than they used to be. You check the basement, but we're going to be careful. Seems like there's always a lot. Seems like we've been running into a lot of zombies in the basement. Really no other books, huh? This is a pretty standard basement. Check it out. See what we got. Water heater, yeah. Yep, game basement. I don't know if we talked about this. You can smash pull tables for, I believe, felt pieces, which is what the wool is, right? Gives felt patches. Wield the nail bat. No, it doesn't give felt. I really thought it did. Never mind then. That's my mistake. Maybe it used to. I could swear it's a pull table. Pull tables have felt. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Take some alcohol. Really nothing under here. There is a mysterious black square, so I'd like to make sure there's nothing back there. Sometimes there are hidden things in the game, so it's usually prudent to give them a quick glance if you have a moment. So we'll head out here and check the other basement. Oh, a little garden shack as well. Climb the fence. You can climb fences by pressing the examine key and then selecting the fence. It will prompt you to climb them. It only works with certain fences. Like these fences, you don't need to do that. You can just walk over them, I believe. In fact, let's test that. Yeah. And then chain link fences, you can also climb. I thought there was a fence over here. No. But barbed wire, you can't. Barbed wire, you have to smash. You can climb this same way. You examine the tile, and then it will hop over. So that's fine. Check the little shed back here. Has a lawnmower in it. Lawnmowers, if you have a wrench, a trench knife as well is pretty neat, and a sewing kit, but we already have one. We'll take the lawnmower because if we drop the lawnmower and we take it apart, we don't have the wrench in our inventory anymore. But if you have a wrench, you can disassemble the lawnmower. It will give you an engine as well as blades, and blades are pretty important for crafting low tier cutting weapons. So like if we just go over to weapons, go to cutting, and we went to, I don't know, the makeshift machete, you'll see it requires a blade. One of the only places to get a blade is from a lawnmower. And these low tier cutting weapons tend to be okay. Like the makeshift machete is not amazing, but again, if you could find it on day one, it'd be pretty great. But in general, I lean towards bashing weapons just because getting blades and things is so difficult in the early game. It requires a tool that is kind of hard to find, right? It's hard to find a wrench. And you'll see here a 2x sword is easy to make, and scrap metal is easy to get, and all you need is hammering, and it gives you a better damage quality. Now the machete is better for combat. It has a +1 to hit, as well as, well, I guess they both have medium block. Yeah, so that's really it, huh? Yeah, man, that's pretty bad. Makeshift glade is better, but it's also slower. So I don't know, do with that information what you will. What is this? We can climb this? What is this? Screen mesh wall, impassable. Seems weird that we're allowed to climb that, because you would think that this would be a floor to ceiling wall. That's probably a mistake. So probably just somebody put a flag on it that they shouldn't have. Check the basement. It's going to be a mirror of the basement we just explored, because they're basically right next to each other. The bee's knees. What in God's name is that? Bee's knees. It is cocktail dates from the Prohibition era. Gin, honey, and lemon. Well, gin is disgusting. So, oh well. Juniper berries are gross, is my take. So again, we'll check behind here, although I highly doubt there's anything back there. And a little slim picking on the books, huh? I don't think we found a ton of books. Oh, hacksaw. Very good. Very good find. I didn't expect there to be tools in here. That makes me wonder if there are tools. No, this is a much smaller closet. Okay. Very good to find a hacksaw. Hacksaw lets you remove things from vehicles. Like if we wanted to take off, say, a vehicle frame, I believe it would require a hacksaw. The quarter panel, yeah, also requires a hacksaw. Yeah, so very important for vehicle construction. Hacksaw, a very good find. Again, primarily the tools you want for vehicle work are hacksaws. Saw a zombie child way over there. Are hacksaws, wrenches, and then welders are the other important bit. Hacksaws and wrenches help you take things off, help you install certain things. A wrench is needed for a battery and for tanks and things like that. Jacks, removing a tire requires a wrench. And then the welder is used for basically everything. Installing anything on a vehicle usually requires a welder. Although, again, the things that you would take off with a wrench, you would put back on with a wrench. I really don't understand why the tanks require drilling. I guess you're creating a hole for the bolt. But the problem is, well, I guess if you're installing a tank that's never been on the vehicle before, you would need to drill a hole. But if you were installing one on a vehicle that previously had a tank, it would have pre-drilled holes. But I don't know how you would simulate that in Cataclysm, so it is what it is. Anyway, it's about 6 p.m. Why don't we just settle in for the day? We've explored these 3 already. What did this require? Tires. Yeah, we don't have a jack. Maybe we have a recipe for a jack in here somewhere, but I don't know. Let's go ahead and sort our loot. There we go. I think we just... if I talk about crafting and focus, we would want to talk about that in its own episode. We're 22 minutes, and most of the episode was me talking about being sick. I guess we'll call the episode here. In the next episode, we'll talk about focus and morale and how that has an impact on our gameplay. Yeah, probably should make that its own episode. So, for now, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. I'll be back with more of the tutorial Cataclysm playthrough in the near future. If you enjoyed this episode, maybe consider liking, commenting, subscribing. All those things really help me out as a YouTuber, really help put the content out there for more people to see, and I'd really appreciate it. So that's going to do it, and I'll see you next time.